Welcome to Twin Talk. This is Joy, and I am not here with my sister Angie this evening. We decided that since school is about to start and I will be teaching again and things get pretty crazy, that we each would just record a few podcasts on our own and kind of use them in those times when we don't have time to get together and actually do a podcast together. So I'm just recording this because I know there'll come a time when we need to have one done and have it ready to upload. So I'm going to talk to you about a book. It's a young adult fiction book. It was written by April Henry, and it was released in July of 2020. And the name of the book is The Girl in the White Van. And of course, the title automatically made me a little weary. I thought maybe, I had not read what the book was about. I just dove in and started listening to the book, and immediately I realized it was a book about abduction. And honestly, I almost quit reading the book because that is my worst nightmare. I believe it's every parent's worst nightmare to think of their child being abducted. But I went ahead and stuck it out, and I'm glad I did because it was a good book. It did hold my interest, and I am going to read what Kirkus Reviews has to say about it right now. The Girl in the White Van. A kung fu student combats a kidnapper. Savannah Taylor has gotten used to relocating every time her mom falls for a different man. Now in Portland, Oregon, she struggles to live with Tim, her mom's controlling boyfriend, while pursuing her newfound passion. In Kung Fu class, she uncovers newfound strength, finding a sanctuary from her chaotic home life. Though she's resolved not to make friends, she's drawn to Daniel Diaz, a green belt who shares her interest in Bruce Lee. Meanwhile, rumors swirl at school about a driver who is following girls in battered, unmarked cars. Even worse, a girl one town over vanished last year. Leaving Kung Fu one night, Savannah is attacked, waking up in the back of an old white van with her wrists duct taped. Her kidnapper is a man who goes by Sir. With the help of an unexpected ally and Bruce Lee's words of wisdom, Savannah must summon the strength to outwit Sir if she wants to make it out alive. The narrative, it goes on to kind of give, Kirkus Reviews goes on to kind of give their personal opinion there. But anyway, it is tough from a parent's perspective to read this because it is about an abduction. But like I said, I just stuck it out. I went ahead and finished the book, and I'm glad I did. It was good to hear what the girl, what all she went through and how she dealt with it and how she overcame adversity. And there are tons of references to Bruce Lee. She's a huge fan of Bruce Lee. The book is full of quotes from Bruce Lee and references to Bruce Lee, so I could definitely see how if you're a Kung Fu fan or you're a Bruce Lee fan, you may get a kick out of hearing all of the references to Bruce Lee. So one thing I did like about the book is it did a good job of showing the trauma. It didn't just affect the girl who got kidnapped. It's also her mom and her friends and things like that. And it was really interesting to see the grief from each person's perspective. And of course, Savannah's mother, she's one of these women who she's one of these people who gets on the internet and finds men on the internet and falls in love over the internet and then goes and lives with them and then drags her kid along. And I used to would think, oh, there aren't people like that. But you know what? I actually, over the years, I've met not very many, but I can think of one or two women who actually do. There's nothing wrong with, meeting people over the internet, but I've seen it happen. I know a lady who met a guy and their relationship was built over the internet, and he ended up moving to where she lived. And long story short, after a few months, the marriage fell apart and he stole a few things from her and split. And I just hate that because she's a really nice lady, but I just hate that loneliness can sometimes drive women to do things that otherwise they may not and to make unwise decisions. But back to the book. So this was her mother. That's the type of woman she was. That she just felt like she had to have a man to validate her. She felt like she had to have a man. I guess she was just lonely. But her poor daughter was the one who really paid for it, because most of these men, were not high quality men. And her daughter ends up getting kidnapped. And the mother, of course, blames herself. And kind of partly, I don't know, I wouldn't say it was her fault. But she... I don't know. I won't even go there. But if you like kind of suspense thriller, and you kind of want to, figure out, like, this girl had to escape, and it's kind of makes you think with her. You're really, really trying to find out any way to escape this travel trailer, Let me see if I have anything else to say about it. Like I said, it was a tough read for parents, and I guess it may be a tough read for young girls, because they are probably more vulnerable to getting kidnapped than maybe other people. But I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 karate chops. So, A Girl in the White Van by April Henry. Read it if you dare. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you next time on Twin Talk.